Hey, good evening, everybody. I hope you guys are all doing well, or good morning to wherever part of the world you are, and afternoon. I am JayRiv, and
I am Noni.
and tonight we are back, or whatever time it is for you all. We are back with another episode of Artist Alley. It's been a while, hasn't it been?
It has been a while. I think we got caught up with a lot of stuff, but I'm kind of glad we're doing this again because I really like doing these episodes with you. It's really fun. It's funny, you know.
Me too. So, Noni, what are we going to be talking about tonight?
So we're gonna be talking about like this trend that's been going on a lot. This trend of like the 100 gorilla. Okay. Let me paraphrase that. I always keep messing that up. I cannot talk tonight. It was like the 100 man versus the one gorilla. Like that's been a huge debate I've been seeing a lot on social media. And like me and JayRiv are just gonna be talking about like our theories and like our thoughts on the whole like this whole concept.
Yeah, the thing is that this isn't really new. Like, granted, like hearing about like people arguing about a gorilla is quite interesting, but the internet has always debated about a certain topic for, years. Like, it's always been like a thing. It's always like every single year there's always like that one debate that sparks people's interest on the internet. And it's typically something that's like really dumb.
I think what's scary is like it's like scientists are actually are like even the news are talking about it, saying that like what do we think like how will it work, will it not work? I feel like even Mr. Beast is saying that like he wants to do a video of this, which is highly unlikely. I feel like even if he does a video, I feel like he'll just have like a very strong guy wear a gorilla suit and just like as a joke. Like I don't really think he would actually like do the gorilla thing because I don't think that's legal.
There's no way that he's actually going to have a gorilla fight 100 people because, well, first of all, that would be a lot of lawsuits on his hand because people are going to get injured or even, killed because a gorilla is really strong. Or basically, it might be just what you said. Like, they might just get somebody dressed up in like a gorilla costume, or they might CGI like a gorilla if they have like a high enough budget and basically make it look like that a bunch of people are fighting a gorilla. But there's no way that they're actually going to get a real live gorilla. And we're talking about like a silverback gorilla, right?
It was a silverback. Like here's the thing. I think like Mr. Beast can afford like AI. Like he's like super rich. I think he can do it. But like I don't know if it's true because I watched like YouTube shorts. I watched this guy named Danny Reyes. Shout out to him. Like he says that people are getting drafted for a science experiment by the government to test this theory out.
Yeah, this is just so silly. I mean, like I mentioned to you before, like gorillas are really strong. And and like the fact that like people are not including like any weapons, they're just saying hand-to-hand combat with a gorilla. Why on earth would you want to fight a gorilla out of all the animals in the world? I mean, if you could choose any animal to go toe-to-toe with in a boxing match, what would you choose? I would not certainly choose a gorilla, because then I would get beaten up by it.
Well, like, I don't think there's any animal you can really fight. Animals, like, themselves have, like, twice the strength, maybe more than that, than just, like, any human, any man, like, anyone at all. Like, actually, a fun fact, since we're talking about the whole, like, fighting a gorilla, I think, like, a long time ago, Mike Tyson said he wanted to box with a gorilla. He asked the zookeeper if he could box the gorilla. But safety concerns, like, the guy said no. But I feel like if he actually did fight the gorilla, maybe that could have, like, helped with this, help with facts about this whole, debate.
Mike Tyson's crazy, so he probably would have actually done it. Who knows?
I mean, like, it is Mike Tyson. And, like, this might sound crazy. Like, I feel like he would have put up a fight, but I feel like he would have, like, got critically injured by the whole thing.
The only thing I know about like somebody boxing a gorilla is in Punch Out, where basically you can fight Donkey Kong at the end of it. But like now we're in a reality where people are now debating about like a gorilla fighting 100 people. What's next? We're actually gonna have that as like a scenario where like we're gonna have like a King Kong walking around our streets, and then they're just gonna box with like the 100 strongest men in our world, ranging from like powerlifters or like different types of athletes.
I feel like if they had like a couple of people like in every genre of like say like fitness, like say boxers, powerlifters, kickboxers, Muay Thai people, we need those. We need those fighters in this like debate, and then like, every single person, the strongest person, like maybe it could be like a fair chance. Because like here's the question: they didn't say like what kind of men like are gonna be doing this, right?
No, but I always say that I don't think it's gonna be possible because, like, because it requires teamwork, and a lot of times humans are, they're typically iffy with teamwork. What if some people betray each other and then they just backstab each other? Like, hey, you know what? I'm not gonna help you. I'm gonna help the gorilla.
Well, like I don't think the gorilla would care if you will help him. Like I think the gorilla will still like eat you or something.
Well, no, of course not. But like, I'm just saying, like, I think it's normal for people to backstab each other.
I mean, I've heard people on YouTube saying like debating, like there's a good chance like 100 men can fight a gorilla, but there's even proof that like an AI simulation like did a simulation of this, and it showed that the gorilla won no matter what. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But like, I guess we're on the same boat to say like the gorilla will win no matter what.
Yeah, it's funny actually. I have like a couple of classmates of mine, and one of them in particular literally would not stop bringing up this question and basically saying that he believes that 100 people can actually defeat a gorilla. And as a joke, me and my classmate and I, we basically made like a joke, basically saying to him, you know what? Unless you can make like an entire PowerPoint presentation on it, then you can prove us otherwise. And now I'm just like imagining him like putting like 80 slides up or like 100 slides just to explain about like why a gorilla would lose to 100 people.
I mean, like I said, I don't think there's any way that's even possible. Like some debates say that like if like 10 will go up the gorilla, and then like they will lose, obviously, that they'll tire the gorilla out, and then like some other people like to throw a good few punches or something in there. Like that's what the debate I've heard.
What if we got like the entire NFL team, or like the entire an entire like wrestling team or whatever, just fighting against a gorilla?
I think we need all the MMA people, like all the MMA fighters, just to go up all the gorillas, like 100 MMA fighters just to go up with this gorilla.
Or what if, like, instead of, like, humans, like how in the military they have, like, those combat, like, drones or whatever, or, like, robot suits or whatever? I think I'm being right about that. Like, what if they use that instead, just to fight a gorilla?
I mean, like, I feel like that's a fair chance than just 100 men with sorry, that was a bird, sorry.
Excuse you.
Excuse me, sorry. Like, that's better than just, like, 100 men with no, like, abilities or anything like that. Because, like I said, there's no, like, they're not, like, still in, like, fighting.
Well, unless you can have somebody that just hulks up in, like, a battle, and then they just turn into, like, a giant mammoth of a man, and basically just destroy the gorilla in, like, one punch. That, if that was possible.
I think strongman have a chance. Like, maybe a chance if they want to fight. They might have a chance. Strongman. You know
Strawman?
Like people who train for strength, like they lift up like 1,000 pounds of a ball, and they lift it up they lift it up and then they put it like in the pillar. Or like I know Eddie Hall that lifted I think like 1,000 pounds for like a record.
Sam Sulek versus a gorilla.
I think that's like, okay, I'm not gonna lie to you, dude. I think Sam Sulek will win.
Why?
It's Sam Sulek. He's super strong. He's like OP. He won like for his bodybuilding show. Like it says ultimate strength.
Yep.
And plus, like I seen this huge workout that I've seen it like incline, like heavy set, like heavy weight. You like that rest. I think that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, he's huge.
Very bad diet, but I like the guy though.
Yeah, I can eat. If only I can eat like 5 gallons of like McDonald's and still get ripped like that guy.
I don't think he eats McDonald's. Like I did see him eat Five Guys. Like the diet he has is like it's a lot of like during his bulking phase. He said he drank a lot of chocolate milk and a lot of donuts, which I don't know if that's even like possible.
I know. Well, I was joking about the McDonald's thing, but like I do know he did actually eat like Subway for like I think it was like a post workout. I think, which I think is quite insane.
That's a good post workout if you like say like you went to the gym early and it's dinner time, and that's a good post workout meal.
Yeah, but I think he gets like a 12 foot, and those things are like 1,000 calories.
Okay, a 12 is kind of a bit much. Like, I always go with the wraps. Because wraps are, like, they're better than, I'm not gonna lie to you, dude. They're better than, sandwiches, in my opinion.
I have not had a wrap from Subway. I've only had like the sandwiches, and the sandwiches that I've had were pretty good. I mean, I've had like some of the deli sandwiches, and then I had the grilled chicken one time, but then I stopped eating the grilled chicken because you told me recently that like it's only 50% chicken, so I'm like, ew, no.
There's a good sandwich place I do recommend you going, though.
Which one is it? Bogey Hoagies?
Eat Bogey Hoagies always. Shouts out to Bogey Hoagies in New Jersey. Awesome. It's like the best sandwiches I ever had.
Yeah, it's really good. There's that is like one of the good sandwich places. Also, shout out to Brother Bruno's for their nana sandwich.
Oh, hell yeah. I like Brother Bruno's because of the whole, like, remember we went there we're talking about the pizzeria.
Yes,
Like, remember when they had, like, those cheat days, pizzas, the dessert pizza?
I actually never had that. People were telling me about that, but like I actually want to try that one day if I ever want to, like actually fulfill my sweet tooth.
Like, dude, I have a sweet tooth, but I wouldn't even go that crazy. Like, I feel like there was, like, frosting and sprinkles, and what was in there? I forgot. It's been a while.
I don't know. I haven't had the dessert pizza.
But, like, even that's too much for me. Like, and I would eat mostly anything, right?
Yeah, that's right, brother.
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 No, like, the sandwich places I think you should go to is Jersey Mike's. Like, I always tell you Jersey Mike's is like elite to Subway.
So if you go down in New Jersey to like South Jersey, would it be called South Jersey Mike's?
I think that's a fair title because, like, I think I did go to South Jersey and there was like a sign up that was like drawn in that says South, and it just says the look, and then it was taped to the logo that says Jersey Mike's. So I think it is fair.
I mean, Jersey Mike's, I feel like, is like basically like Subway, but like semi better than Subway.
The only difference is, in my opinion, like all the food's fresh. Like they have like a deli stall, like you see like in a deli, like they say the meats and all that. So it's all pretty fresh, in my opinion.
But it's ironic because Subway has the tagline "Subway Eat Fresh," and now it should be called Jersey Mike's Eat Fresh.
Like, that's how it really should be, and I should know because I don't know if did I tell you this? I used to work at Subway.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, and oh boy, I have an experience with that, low key.
Was it with customers?
I told you that time, like, with a guy came up to me and like he was like, "Hi, sir, I'm on a diet, so I'm at Subway. Do you have whole wheat bread?" And like I told him, "Yeah, we have whole wheat bread." He said, "Good. I'll have two full-on meatball sauce with extra provolone and extra marinara sauce, and the largest drink you have." And like that was his like literal like diet. And he said like, I was like, "Oh, like is it today your cheat day?" He said like, "No, like this is just like my regular. It's healthy in a way because it's whole wheat."
Yeah, at least he has whole wheat.
What?
At least he has whole wheat.
Yeah, I said at least whole wheat, and like I kid you not, he asked me to put mayonnaise on both of them.
What?
Like mayonnaise, and like I grabbed the mayonnaise, and then like he told me like, okay, I'll tell you when to stop. And I think I was putting the mayonnaise back and forth for a good 20 seconds.
Did he just want the entire jar on the sandwich?
I guess so, dude. It looked nasty. Like, listen, I like a good meatball sub, but like I would never put mayonnaise on that. That's kind of crazy, low-key.
Yeah, I don't know if I would put mayonnaise on a meatball sandwich.
But like, yeah, that was the craziest thing. I mean, I have a lot of crazy stories during my time working at Subway. Like we should keep talking about something else, right?
Yeah, so it's kind of funny, like now, ever since this, I guess going back to the whole gorilla thing, ever since this whole gorilla discussion has been sparked, I've actually been quite interested in like looking back into gorillas and just kind of like different types of like apes and whatnot. They're very interesting animals, and it's actually funny because gorillas are actually, if you did not know this, actually, gorillas are actually going endangered, actually. And it sucks because, like, a lot of it's always like certain types of animals that are going endangered. Elephants, tigers. Yeah, it's like different animals, and now like gorillas are one of them, and like they could be like extinct.
But oh yeah, like I think the white rhinoceros doesn't exist anymore, right? Because like I think because it was used for hunting a lot in Africa, right?
I believe so, yeah.
I think that's like the dumb thing about like with the hunting endangered species. I did not know the gorillas were being extinct. I'm surprised about that fact actually.
Yeah, I think it's also I don't remember exactly, but I think it's also specifically silverback gorillas. But like basically like it sucks because like gorillas are like, yes, they're like giants and like, they can be very intimidating creatures, but like they also have a purpose. I think that every single animal in this ecosystem has like a purpose and role to play, and like each one of them contributes to the environment in different ways. Like, for example, bees help us with the whole pollination and, making honey and whatnot and the environment. Because without bees, we wouldn't have flowers that grow. And then you also have like spiders that basically kill other insects and kind of are protectors of homes, basically, even though they are quite scary. And just many animals that just play a different role in the ecosystem, even though some of them may be bigger than others.
Definitely. Definitely. Like we need some certain animals to like help with the ecosystem, but I feel like a lot that's dying unfortunately.
Oh, sorry. No, continue with what you're saying. I was just gonna say something silly, but go on.
I don't know if you agree with me. You probably will. Like people say like the environment got better when everyone was in lockdown because like no one was going out and like messing things up and littering. Like I feel like that's kind of like I feel like that's kind of sad because like I feel like the environment should always be better. But like I think pictures of it, it actually does look beautiful. Like, did you know that?
What?
That the environment was better when everyone was on lockdown during COVID.
Yeah, that was why people went outside as well and like kind of chilled outside as well, and like even when they went out to eat.
Definitely, yeah. So wait, what was the joke that you were gonna say?
Well, now I can't say because now you already know it's a joke.
Hey, what's the joke though?
Well, you'll find out as we go on.
Yeah. I know it's late, but I'm kind of in the mood for a sandwich, low key.
You should totally go get one.
Yeah, but like, yeah, like I'm not. I'm in the mood for a sandwich, chicken bacon ranch, low key.
I already had dinner, but like, if I was hungry, I would totally have like maybe like a chicken parm.
Yeah, chicken parm is good.
Yeah. Anyways, going back to the whole animal ecosystem thing, I mean, like, if you play like a Donkey Kong game in your entire life, you basically would know that you're basically killing animals that help with the ecosystem. Like, you fight bees, you fight beavers. Like, Donkey Kong kills beavers, he kills rattlesnakes, he kills like sharks. He uses a rhinoceros to hurt other animals, basically.
I never played the Donkey Kong games.
Really?
Yeah, I think I played. No, I think I played like in like Nintendo DSi. I think I played the Donkey Kong boy thing, like Mario Toys or something.
Mario versus Donkey Kong?
Yeah, I think I only played that type of. It's a Donkey Kong game, right?
Yeah, it kind of is. As like you're talking about the game where like Mario's like has like that toy company or whatever. Where it's like the wind up toys, and then Donkey Kong captures Pauline, and you pretty much have to save her, right?
Yeah, like you have to save her. Like I think that was the only Donkey Kong game that I played really.
I mean, the thing is that like with Donkey Kong, it's like one of those games that if you're like a fan of like Mario, it's like Mario but a bit more of a faster game.
Okay, I like the.
Yeah, well, speaking of Donkey Kong, I know you don't play Donkey Kong a lot, but would you be interested in the new Donkey Kong game that's coming out in the summer?
Wait, which game is that?
Donkey Kong Bonanza?
I would look like you, but is that coming out on the new Nintendo Switch too, or not really?
It's coming out on the Switch 2, which I think is a good time to transition to our next topic, the Switch 2, and our opinions on it. So, as some of you may not know, well now you're gonna know, we are both owners of the original Switch, and we regularly play on it. We love playing games like Gang Beasts, Mario Party, Mario Kart, Smash Brothers, etc. And, of course, earlier this year, we basically got the announcement that the Switch 2 is coming out, and we finally got the reveal of it and the new games that are coming along with it. And I gotta say, $500. Come on.
Low key, I would spend the $500 on a PS5. Low key, not gonna lie. Like, I would like to get the Nintendo Switch too, but like, I feel like that's too much just for like a console. That's I think like what I'm worried about is like I'm not gonna be able to play the new games with the original Switch. Has that been confirmed yet?
So you can actually. Are you asking if the Switch 2 is backwards compatible?
No, I'm asking like if say like they sell new games for the Switch too, like Can they also be compatible with, like, if you have a Switch, the original Switch?
No, but the thing is though is that I think what it is as well is that like because the Nintendo Switch is still so new, there aren't really a lot of Switch 2 exclusives just yet. I think really the only ones there are is the Mario Kart game, the Donkey Kong game, and I believe the Kirby game if I'm correct. But the other ones I think you can still play them on the Switch 1.
Really? That's good.
But here's the problem that oh sorry, were you saying something or should I
No, you can go ahead. I was just gonna say something.
Basically, my biggest problem though is that they're trying to make you pay like $500 by adding all these like new features that are quote unquote cool, but in reality they're kind of like so obsolete with the Switch. Like really, like a voice chat feature. Don't get me wrong. Like I think it's nice that we finally have a voice chat feature, but who is really gonna use that? I mean, we already have like programs like Discord and whatnot to play games on here and chat with. And then there's a Nintendo Switch Online app. I guess it's like a good thing since like some people may want to like prefer talking while they're playing a game, literally while they're using a TV. But at the same time, though, it's just so silly just to increase it for $500. On top of that, as well, you also have the fact that like there's like the GameCube online thing, which they were gatekeeping it from us for a while. And then in order to play the N64 game, you need to have a family member plan basically because I think you have to pay like $60 in order to play N64 games. And now they release it onto the new Switch, which is like $500. Honestly, man, not gonna lie, and this may be kind of like a hot take. Well, actually, not really a hot take because some people also are saying this as well. But I feel like that the Switch 2 is a little bit of a scam. And I really don't want to support that because then it's just basically going to make Nintendo get more games and just be like, hey, you know what? Buy more of our games. Support us as a company. Wink, wink. And then proceeds to just, be horrible with their strategies and just continuously releasing the new shiny games onto the new Switch because, well, hey, you know what? It's a new console.
I mean, like, I feel like that's... Wait, what? What did you say?
Yeah. Did you not hear what I just said? What did you last hear me say?
I just heard muffled.
The entire time?
No, not the entire time. Like the last thing you said, like before you said anything. It's like it was after you explained about the whole like downside of the whole Nintendo Switch.
I feel like the Nintendo Switch is basically a scam because like it's $500 for basically a giant fluff of nothing other than like basically like the voice chat feature and some of the exclusive titles. But even then, there's only like a couple of them, and really like the only one that I think really stands out is really the Donkey Kong game. But that's about it.
I mean, that's like I was gonna say this. Like, I feel like every company just wants to like money grab as much as they can. Like, I'm gonna agree with you about the whole voice chat thing. Like, that's what we use Discord for. Like, you and I use Discord all the time when we play Game Beast or Gang Beast. Gang Beast. I always keep saying Game Beast, but like, you know what I mean. Like, I don't feel like there's a point. And it's just basically like, I'm afraid about getting a Switch thing because I feel like I'm just basically getting the same thing twice, but for a higher price.
Yeah, I mean, it basically is like that if you really think about it. Like, yeah, there might be some, advantages to it. And I already know a couple people that purchase like full price for the game. Well, technically, it's like $500 to just get the game, but then you have to pay $580 if you're going to get it with Mario Kart. But I still even think that that's just an insane price. Here's the thing. If I do really feel like I want to get the Switch, I'll probably wait till the price drops.
Or like buy like a used version or like buy like a knockoff like on eBay or something.
Wouldn't get a bootleg, but like, I would probably get like something that is cheaper. But like still of quality because I did get the Switch 1 at a reasonably decent price. Like it was expensive, of course, but like I got it lower than I think what its initial price was.
Yeah, definitely. Like in other video game news, have you heard what's going on with GTA 6?
I have not.
So here's the news: they're delaying the game till like May 2026.
Wow. So there's more delays to the game.
I mean, listen, like, I would have loved the game, like, this year, but here's the thing, like, I think the trailer dropped, like, around 2023.
2024, 2023, I think around that time, yeah.
Yeah, it was around the middle of the year. Like, a lot of people are upset with the whole, like, getting it delayed, but, like, I understand the frustration. I'm also a little frustrated, but, like, then again, like, it's all about the quality. Like, it's all about quality more than anything. Because the last thing like you want to get is like backlash, seeing like the game's all like crappy and all that. You have to download all the DLCs, and, you know.
Well, I mean, like I'm assuming that like the game is going to be one of those games where you are going to have to pay even playing the game or something. Wasn't there something like that? You have to like pay while playing the game or something like that.
Oh yeah, I think you have to pay a lot of money, like $100 just to play the game, and like I think like $100 more just to play like the online version.
$100 that for a video game? Oh my goodness!
But everything did.
What happened to the old days when video games were like what, like $20 or $30? Now video games are like $80. Like, listen, I can understand like video games being like around like maybe like the tens to like the 20 range or like even maybe even 30. But now we're getting to a point where like the stock markets have raised so high that now we have to pay nearly a fortune just to get a video game.
It is crazy, dude. Like how everything's changing and everything more expensive. Because I remember back in the day, like going to GameStop and seeing like a game like for like what $25, and that was expensive to me. And I would ask my mom or dad, saying like, "Hey, can I get this?" But like, oh, it's $25. But like now, it's just $100 just to play the damn game. That's kind of crazy, low key.
And this isn't the first time that like a Switch. I mean, like of course, like PlayStation 5 games I think are pretty pricey as well. But like, I'm not really a big PlayStation guy because well, I don't have the console, and also I just never really was interested in like many of the titles. I've always been more of a Nintendo boy. But basically, I did hear that there were a couple games that did increase in price with the Nintendo Switch. Like I think Tears of the Kingdom was like around like maybe $70 or $80. I think it was a pretty full price game because well, one, it was very beefy in story content and whatnot, and two, I think it was a very advanced game graphically.
Yeah, and like that's what I want to talk about the whole GTA delay. Like I think it's more. I feel like it is probably a good idea that they did delay it because like here's a good thing about it. They do have a date when they want to release it. But like the thing is, they were very vague on when they were gonna like release it. It's all about the quality because you don't want to like it's bad to like rush a good product, especially for a game like this. Like all the graphics looks realistic and everything looks real. I feel like you don't want to mess this up. Like, do you agree with me?
I do agree with you in some sense, but like I also think that like if I remember correctly, did the trailer say a release date at the time, or was it like it said coming soon?
I think it said 2025. It's been a while since I've seen the trailer. I was kind of waiting for like trailer 2. Like I could tell you, like I do know some games that were like kind of ruined because like, the fan base want the game quickly.
What?
Like I know you never you know like Five Nights at Freddy's, right?
Yeah.
Like I know like Security Breach was kind of like a lot of backlash on it. Like a lot of people didn't like it because it kept glitching and the graphics weren't that great. And like it had potential of being a good game, but I feel like the fan base was like demanding the game to come out sooner, and it was just rushed. And I feel like that's what they're doing with the GTA 6 delay. Like they just don't want it to look crappy.
Yeah, I mean like that I think that is definitely like a case of like you don't want to rush your product. You actually want to treat it with tender love and care. However, I do think that unfortunately there are video game companies that are a victim of this, and they end up releasing a game that is like at full price, but then in reality it's not even like complete, and they're still like releasing like patches or like basically like DLC in order to get the full content. And it's annoying because now that's starting to become a very big thing. Games that like require like downloadable content or microtransactions just to simply like sell their product. And what's even worse is that some of these games are like going for like $60 and they're not even worth that price range.
Oh, definitely, dude. Like, definitely, dude. And like, I kind of hope like games in the future have better storytelling. Do you feel like some games are not good with that anymore?
I think that there are still games that are good with storytelling. I think that, back then we used to live in a world where people kind of just play video games just to get a high score or just memorize patterns in order to beat a certain level. But now we're getting to a point where now we have complex stories, character development, an entire franchise, and just so much more to it. I mean, like, of course you're gonna have like some like people that grew up in like the 80s or 70s or 80s that they're just basically gonna say, well, video games were cooler back then than now. But like, I still think that there is still like a market of like what makes video games good nowadays. I don't know what games you're referring to in terms of like, storylines not being that good, but from what I've played, it seems that like the storylines are pretty good for the most part. I will say though that certain games do try way too hard to capture nostalgia rather than try and be its own thing.
I mean, I feel like a lot of people try to stick with nostalgia. Like that's what people do with reboots, and that's what we discussed like on the last episode. I think that was last episode we did, right?
Yeah, it was reboots with like cartoons or movies. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like whatchamacallit. I talked about the storylines in video games because I feel like I played a lot of GTA 5 lately. Because I kind of told myself I'm gonna keep playing GTA 5 over and over again, the story mode until GTA 6 comes out. Like I made that joke like to some people that I know.
Mm-hmm.
But like looking at it now, like the GTA 5 storyline, I don't feel like there was a lot of. I feel like the storyline's kind of like all over the place, if you know what I mean.
Well, isn't it just a bunch of? I mean, I'm not really a big avid like GTA player. I only just sometimes play it just to goof around. But isn't it one of those games where you just go on like different like missions and you basically just do different tasks for like different citizens, basically, or is there like actually like an overarching plot?
Well, in the beginning, the story does get a little good. Does get good. Like, it's basically you get like this retired guy who used to be like, robbing banks and all that, and like you get this other like this new kid like who wants to be better in life. So they kind of do heists together. But then later on, the story kind of it does progress, but then I kind of forget like what's the whole like who's the main villain? Like what's the whole point of all this? Like, you know what I mean?
It sounds like it has like a lot of plot holes then.
In a way, yes, because like I feel like the first part of the game talks about this like they have to repay this big criminal, but then they did that, but then they progressed to doing more stuff, and then it just progressed them doing more stuff, and then it like I feel like somewhere in the middle of it does tell you like what about the story, like what's going on and all that stuff, but like it does get confusing sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because like there's like games that like purposely try and be convoluted, but then when they get into like certain themes like time traveling or other themes that like mess up a plot, that's when games start to go all over the place. However, I mean, like as for like the statement earlier that you said that you feel that other games like are kind of like that they're kind of like losing the whole story. I mean, GTA I think is like a different case because that's more like of a game where you go on like missions and you basically do different missions and then that eventually connects to a plot. But like, are there any other games that you feel are not really good with their story?
Any games that I played, well, I think before that, I was the type of person who always played like Call of Duty, and and that was just pretty much it. I feel like Rayman Legends it does have a story, but it kind of gets confusing because like they don't really explain to you what the story is. I kind of have to like figure out as I play along. Like you and I played a little bit of it. Right?
I never played like the story of it, but like we have played like multiplayer of it, and I played the game before in like GameStop as well.
Yeah, it's like you basically get to do it's like a Mario game. Like you have to like I think I have to save these village people. Like my little brother, I play with him. Like he calls them the Smurfs, and so you just have to rescue them. And then like you have to like put all these wizards, defeat all these wizards, but there's also all these boss fights. But like I feel like the art style changes a lot, which I'm not complaining. I think it's good that they changed the art style a lot. Like a game that I feel like I like the story. I'm gonna tell you this right here. Like I feel like this game is really underrated. Sunset Overdrive for the Xbox One. Like I thought that game was really good.
What's Sunset Overdrive?
It's like this apocalyptic type of video game. That was like for the Xbox One. It's like you played this like main character and like it's a zombie apocalypse, and you have to like. It's kind of like an interesting zombie apocalypse because you get to run and do and. It's kind of more creative, not like the traditional Walking Dead type of zombie apocalypse. But I recommend like looking at Let's Plays on it. Like it's pretty good.
Is it on the 360 or is it on the one?
I think it's only on the one. That's the only reason why I got the Xbox One. Like originally I wanted a PS4, but then like I got the Xbox One.
The only Xbox that I have is the 360, and gosh, I had a childhood with that.
Oh yeah, the 360 was amazing, dude. I remember like all the fun games I used to play on that.
Yeah, I was like a Nintendo kid and a Microsoft kid. Like, it's funny because like I had a Wii when I was younger, but then like it broke down because I don't know, Wii's tend to like break down a lot. I noticed a lot of people like their Wii's like break or whatever. But basically, like after like my Wii was not working, I just ended up just playing like a bunch of Xbox games, and I would just beg my family to just buy Xbox games for me instead of the Wii games.
I mean, I feel it was my case too because my dad at my dad's house, like they had a Wii, and like I shared that Wii with like my stepsister and my stepbrother sometimes. Like we would play on it, but as we got older, we stopped kind of playing with it because it just didn't really appeal to us. And like I wanted some Wii games, but like they kind of told me no for some reason because Carla didn't like those games. I mean, my stepsister didn't like those games.
What games did you play on the Wii?
I think it was all like just family stuff games, like like Wii Sports and like some Mario Kart, but that was just about it, really.
Hmm.
Like I remember I used to have like the special like Lego Wii remote that was pretty cool. Like I always put minifigures on it all the time.
Oh, nice. I think I've seen that before. Like, it's crazy now because like the consoles that were back then, they used to be like at a very expensive price. Consoles back then, I think, were like what, like $60 or higher? No, no, no. They were like $300 or like $200, right?
I was gonna say like $60. Like I would have loved if some of the game systems were like $60. That would have been like really.
Oh, sorry. I was like thinking about like games nowadays, but like, and then like video games for that was like they costed between like what, like $20 to like $40 at some points.
Yeah. Like, did you ever get that? What was that? What was that console with Nintendo Wii? It was like it looked like the Switch, but it wasn't a Switch. It was you, right?
Oh, you're talking about the Wii U.
Yeah, like but I had a lot of backlash on it. Low-key, I wanted a Wii U.
The Wii U is not a bad console. It's just the problem is that it did not sell well because of crappy marketing. But basically, what I think why some people look back at it in a very negative light is because it had like certain gimmicks that just were kind of weird. Like for example, like the gamepad, you could not take it with you as like a handheld console. Like like how the Switch is literally both like a handheld and a game console. With the gamepad, you need to be nearby a TV specifically in order to play on it. And on top of that as well, it's like some of the games that were released on the Wii U weren't exactly the greatest. There were some good games, don't get me wrong, but unfortunately there were some games that were just like, that were trying to be like the next big thing, but then they just ended up like falling flat.
But I did not know that. I thought like the reason why I wanted the Nintendo Wii U was because like I thought you could take it with you anywhere, but I did not know.
No, you cannot. You have to be right by a TV, basically.
I mean, I did see the marketing for it. Like, I think I only saw one commercial. Is that the only commercial that they made for it?
No, they made several commercials. Just the problem was is that the marketing was very crappy. It's not that they didn't make enough ads. It was because like the ads themselves were not very. They were very cringy to listen to, and they had like a bunch of like Disney Channel stars on there, and like it just wasn't really. It just wasn't really screaming like a video game. It was screaming more like of some other kind of advertising. I think it was basically.
No, definitely. Like it can't be a commercial if you had Disney stars. Like what year was that? Like 2010.
Wii U? No, the Wii U came out like in 2012.
Like it was around that time era. Like I feel like Disney stars sold a lot of like if you put them in commercials, they'll you could sell the product. But what kind of Disney stars were promoting this game console?
They were like B-list celebrities.
Like from Austin Alley, Sweet Life or something.
I think so, yeah. Whatever was on in 2012.
Yeah. Well, I think like I did watch Disney, but I kind of watched more on Cartoon Network and like Nickelodeon when they were actually good at that time.
I would only go to Disney Channel in case like I did not feel like I wanted to watch anything on like Nickelodeon or like Cartoon Network.
Yeah, like my mom was in the room. Sorry, but but I think Cartoon Network's been getting comebacks, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know what that means though. Does that just mean like the channel's back, or what's going on with that?
I don't know what that means either because like, isn't Cartoon Network the channel still going on? they're just showing it like that TV show all the time. Like, you know which TV show I'm talking about, right?
You mean Teen Titans Go?
Yeah, they're just filming that like show consistently like 24/7.
You know, we could have an entire episode about how silly Teen Titans Go is, but I might as well just talk about it right now. I'll keep it brief, but basically it's just one of those shows that, like, you know, it sucks that, like, you know, kids nowadays, like, are kind of growing up with, like, shows that, like, essentially are just nothing more than, like, brain rot, or just kind of like, shit posts basically in the cartoon form. And, you know, here's the thing. I don't have a problem with the well, like, you know, you can only do it for so long that, like, eventually kids are gonna grow up and get bored with it. Sure, more kids are gonna, like, are gonna come to this world and they're gonna start watching this show, but, like, I feel like eventually, like, kids are gonna get bored of it because they're gonna see it's the same running gag over and over and over again, which is basically just passive aggressively insulting the audience, making fart jokes, an entire episode about using the freaking toilet, and doing the wee wee dance. Oh, and literally having an entire episode where basically the Titans fight Santa Claus.
Was that actually an episode like the Weeby did? I think I vaguely remember that. I think I only saw.
And then the bathroom flies at the end or whatever. I don't know. It's so dumb.
I mean, I think like one episode I found interesting was the Doom Patrol thing, but I kind of lost interest quickly because it just didn't seem. It just didn't really seem that interesting, Loki. Like, it seems kind of, like, boring.
And I'm sorry.
And I remember, like, when it came, when it was first coming out, like, I was actually excited for it, but because, like, I thought it was going to be, like the old one, but it's a completely different, like, it's kind of like a funny gag to the original. I'm so surprised it's going on. Like, how long has it been on air for, dude?
It's already been like 10 years, I think, actually. It's been on since like a decade. It's been on since 2013, so it's been like maybe more like than 10 years at this point.
Jesus, I think I was like 13 years old when that came out.
It's crazy though, because, like, you know, and here's the thing, like, the reason why I'm not, like, you know, like, slamming this show with like a mallet, because, well, one, everybody has already done that before, and we said worse things about the show. And two, I acknowledge that cartoons that are, like, you know, episodic are actually more for a market for younger children. Cartoon Network is no longer the same channel it was all those years ago. You know, all those cartoons that we all grew up with, you know, like Ed and Nettie, Dexter's Lab, Foster's Home, and etc. Those were shows that worked within that time frame. But I feel like if they were released in today's standards, it wouldn't really be the same. And I feel like that now in these days, like, Cartoon Network is trying to advertise it for a younger audience rather than just trying to be like an audience for both kids and, like, you know, teens basically.
Yeah, like, I miss the days like when they kind of like did new shows and kind of experiment with new things, and now it's just like stick with like what you know basically is what they're showing.
Or just shows that basically don't follow like a deep plot. Like, obviously I do understand why they won't make another show like Steven Universe or Adventure Time again, because, you know, in order for that to work with like a younger audience, they would basically have to show those episodes in chronological order, so then kids won't get lost and understand what's going on in the plot. That I understand, but at the same time though, it sucks that, like, we're never gonna get that again, or Cartoon Network's never going to do that again because, well, it was the product of the past. On top of that as well, it doesn't really help either that HBO Max, or Max as they call it now, got rid of every fucking children's show, every fucking animated show from Cartoon Network's lineup.
That does suck because, like, they canceled, like, the best show, in my opinion, by the guy who created regular show, Close Enough. Like, I told you about it, like, it was actually a really good show, but, like, they canceled it because of the whole, like, it was like HBO Max merging with Discovery, right?
I think that's what it was.
Yeah, like, that's when they were getting rid of all the animated shows. They had to cancel that show for some reason. Like, I was kind of really disappointed that it got canceled, dude.
And then they got rid of, like, pretty much a lot of, like, the Cartoon Network originals.
I think those are, like, some of them are on Hulu or, like, on Disney Plus. Because I did know, like, I saw The Amazing World of Gumball and Chowder on Disney Plus.
I guess you could say now that those shows are officially a part of Disney.
Yeah, like, it's funny to say that because when I was younger, I could never imagine, like, Cartoon Network shows being in the Disney type thing. Like, it's funny to see that now.
It's funny because there were shows that aired on like different channels and then they got moved to Disney. Like for example, Nickelodeon actually did that before. Like, for example, they aired episodes of like Doug on Nickelodeon, but then they aired it also on Disney Channel as well because I think Disney bought the rights to the show.
That is true, and like, well, the thing was like it kind of changed. Like when they moved to Disney, it kind of changed a lot. Like they changed the character a little bit. They changed basically all the characters when they moved to Disney. And I watched the whole series on like when I was younger. It was kind of different from where when it was in Disney in Nickelodeon. I mean,
I'm probably guessing that like well, I watched, I wasn't like a huge avid watcher of it, but I did watch quite a bit of episodes. But I'm assuming that like it was like the original show is more of a slice of life show, whereas like the Disney show was a bit more was it a bit more goofy or what was it?
it was a lot goofy. Like, don't get me wrong. Like there were some episodes that kind of dealt with serious issues, but most of it was a little goofy in a sense.
The thing is that the original show had a bit more of like a relaxed vibe to it. But at the same time though, there was like also like that sense of like, just this regular old boy having a life where his sister was like an actor or whatever, and then you had like his parents and whatnot, and then of course his dog. It was like a show that I felt was like kind of relatable to a younger crowd. But then on Disney, it's like they made it kind of like, a bit more cartoony in a sense, rather than like more of a slice of life show that it was before.
Glad you do. I did watch the Disney version. Like, it wasn't good. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. It was like it was watchable. But I would still watch it, even though it wasn't like as it was before. No way.
I always find it funny that like Doug was the only person in the show that had like human skin, but then everybody else was like a different color.
Yeah, I never understood that. Like, why was that the case? Like, that was kind of weird.
I guess it was the show basically that he was kind of like an outcast, maybe? I'm not sure.
I think he was different from his other peers. Wasn't his like love interest have like the same skin tone? Like, wasn't she tan or orange or what was it?
It was orange, I think.
Oh, I always thought it was like, and they had these weird names and all that stuff.
And then there was like this blue character, I remember. I forget his name, but he was like the best friend of Doug.
Skeeter.
Yep.
I love Skeeter. He was pretty funny. Both series, low key. I don't know if you saw this on YouTube, but like I remember this channel like did a whole trailer for a Doug movie. I think back in like 2012, I think.
There was a Doug movie, right?
There was a Doug movie from Disney, but like this channel just did a real life version of it, but they all were dramatized. Am I saying that?
Yeah, you're saying it right.
Yeah, like they were dramatized the whole series. I thought it was pretty like cool back in the time. And it was funny. I actually believed they were making a real life version of this movie, but it was all fake the whole time.
I guess it was so good that like you thought it was real.
I think like it was the early stage of YouTube when I was like looking into it. Like I didn't know if like trailers were real or not. As I got older, like trailers, like people always make these fake trailers. Do they still do those at all?
I think they do in some aspects, but I don't know if it's as often.
I think they do that with like upcoming movies or games. Like they'll just like rehash clips from the movie before, or they just make like I think nowadays they use AI now.
Because AI is everywhere now.
Dude, seriously, like AI is everywhere.
And I'm telling you that like now it's gonna get to a point where people are gonna use it as like a tool, but now I think people might use it for other aspects as well. Like
For real. Right? I heard Duolingo, the company, is replacing all their stuff with AI now. Which is kind of like doesn't make that much sense to me.
why?
Well, it's like I don't find it makes sense because it's kind of supposed to bring everyone together by learning the languages and like getting rid of the people to help with that and just using computers just doesn't seem to make sense anymore.
That has got to be the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
I mean, it's not the first time that Duolingo was in controversy. Like I remember there was this whole thing that the Duolingo bird was dead for a bit.
But yeah, that was like a gimmick, I think, or whatever. But then the bird came back to life, or what?
Yeah, a lot of people were kind of reacting. Like, was it really that big of a deal?
I think it was perceived as like a big deal because it was like oh, they killed their mascot, and literally it was like an entire logo of like the bird's eyes with an X on it.
I mean, well, the bird was still there to be the logo. I mean, that's should be viewed as a good thing. Like, yeah, like AI taking over everything. Like, I think you and I talked about this, like with whatchamacallit, like. He told me that like a certain professor was kind of supporting AI, right?
There's like quite a bit of people that are like supporting AI, and it's getting to a point where at like my university, there are literally professors having these people coming over to literally say that use AI to pretty much for your artwork and for writing. And don't get me wrong, using them as like a tool is not the worst thing in the world, but you have to keep in mind that like AI is like a is something that is going to be very, it's not going to be perfect, and it's going to be very repetitive a lot of the times. And you shouldn't really solely rely on it, because otherwise you're going to be stuck on a lot of things and you're going to feel very stuck. And it doesn't really help either that basically that in a lot of universities plagiarism is seen as like a very serious offense. And the fact that now people are literally telling you, hey, you know what, use AI, when in reality many schools have AI detectors and you can fail your assignments because of that. That's not really something good to be suggesting to people.
And I think the thing is that people are saying that AI is going to take over a lot of stuff, like the creative field, like art. But I don't think we should get to that point, because you can tell when something's like AI and when a real person made it. Like, it doesn't have to say feeling, like, if you look at a piece of art that's created by a person that they they put their heart out to it, they put a lot of effort into it. You could tell like the passion, but like, you just see AI. I don't think AI is taking over the creative field, in my opinion. I could be wrong.
I don't think so either. It's that also like similar to what you're saying. I also believe that as well. Like if you look at AI art with human art, it's not just the creative process about it. Although I do think that AI can still be creative. At the same time though, how do I say this? The techniques of an artist versus an AI machine can be very apparent. For example, if you see something that's AI, you might see that they might distort like a person's features or warp certain anatomy, giving a person extra fingers or extra set of legs. That's typically what AI does with their art, from what I've noticed. Especially since there's like a lot of people on the internet that love to kind of like, just generate something from an AI website and then claim it as their own work. When in reality, it's just basically taking bits of other information from other artists and then just combining into one piece.
Yeah, that's like that's what you call it. Like, I know a lot of people who sell like clothes on the internet. Like, they just use AI to like promote their brand. Like, they put AI designs on the clothing.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I could tell you this: I do have a feeling like AI might take over like writing, in my opinion.
In what sense?
Like people like for television, like TV series, for movies, because like we do get that writer strike that happens a couple times. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like what like executives and producers want to avoid that is by just basically just having AI write the material.
I think with that though, like wouldn't that kind of like, diminish the quality of the show? Like I understand like you may want to get like a quick paycheck, but I think people can obviously know that. And it's not like it's at a point where like it's like beep boop beep. No, it's like see, one thing I notice about with AI when it writes something, it's not very specific, and sometimes it's very vague of what it's trying to say. Like, and it also sometimes just repeats things in a very unclear way.
No, you're definitely right with that. But I feel like people like look at to a certain point that they're tired with the whole writer's strike. They will just go with that, which is not really fair to the writers.
I wouldn't do that. I mean, like, like maybe like, you can use the only thing that I use AI for is Grammarly, to just basically kind of like get like the grammar and stuff and whatnot checked on like papers and whatnot, because well, I think that like sometimes you can still have trouble with grammar a lot as well, even with writing. I'm sure there's people that don't struggle with it, but I'm sure it's like still something that like you can make like a simple grammar mistake here or there.
Oh, definitely. I use that to like to write emails. Like, I always say like, oh, is there misspells and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I really use AI for.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, so you want to keep talking about the grill?
I mean, I think we already talked about the gorilla extensively enough. What is there more to talk about?
The gorilla.
What more, though?
It's a gorilla.
I don't think we should extend something that already had a satisfying conclusion to the conversation.
I mean, like, another good thing about AI, I mentioned this before, that I told you this, like, AI did a simulation about what would happen with 100 men will fight a gorilla.
Oh my god.
But
You and the gorillas. What is with you and gorillas?
I like gorillas. I'm 80% gorilla, 80% pig.
Are you mentally insane?
Maybe a little bit.
Probably you are saying like, oh, 80% gorilla, 80% pig, 80% human. So you're basically saying that you're 160%, you're 160% animal and then you're like 80% human basically?
I mean, I basically am. Like, I'm 80% gorilla, 80% pig.
Oh yeah, you totally are gorilla. Why don't you just pound your chest right now and make gorilla sounds? That's not even how they sound. I don't even know what you were doing. I think you just sounded like a Banjo and Kazooie character.
A banjo.
You know, like those, like they sound like they're speaking gibberish while they're talking like.
I mean, like, yeah, like, we discussed about the gorilla. Like, what else there to talk about?
I think that's pretty much it. I don't think there's more to talk about with a gorilla.
I mean, like, we could talk more about Cartoon Network, but, like, I feel like that's like the next episode, right?
Yeah, maybe we can talk about Cartoon Network. I don't know what specifically we could talk about Cartoon Network, but maybe we could talk about like, shows that we grew up with and how we feel about like, the modern era Cartoon Network. Although we did technically do that tonight. So, well, you guys will just have to wait and see what comes out on the next episode of Artist Alley.
Hell yeah. Like, we could talk about the whole god awful era when they were doing like real life shows.
Yeah, that could be like something. But anyways, as we're about to wrap up, before we start wrapping up, we would like to thank every single one of you for coming onto this podcast, whatever time and day you guys are currently on. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And next time, we may be talking about Cartoon Network's past and maybe just cartoons in general. Who knows? I mean, we don't always come with a plan every single time with these podcasts, so might just talk about something on the spot.
Heck yeah. Like, we just like have fun with it, basically.
Anyways, any last words, Noni?
I'm still 80% gorilla, 80% pig.
Okay, well, I guess if that's what you believe in, then that's good for you. Alrighty, well.
I'm sorry.
Well, anyways, thank you guys for listening to this episode of Artist Alley. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.